Hello everyone, I'm Micah Wood and I'm honored that I get the opportunity to share my faith story to all of you. Today hasn't been all I expected in terms of how I assumed it would be as a child, but we are so lucky to have such an amazing staff and a school community to make the most of the circumstances we are in. As we all know, faith is broad. When you imagine the word faith, it's very easy to get carried away and taken to many different places. You see, this is what happened to me. I was born into a family who loved God, and I was taught by my parents, grandparents, and my extended family that He was very important. But I just went along, day by day, knowing He was the loving, mighty, all-powerful God. I just thought it was what everyone did. As I grew up, even though I was still riding the God train, my own thoughts started to accumulate. I started developing my own opinions of God and what it meant to me. I often had trouble believing the Bible stories I was taught and questioned the factuality of them. I learned fast that when you put the Bible stories into present circumstances, it just tests your faith that much more. This was a really hard pill to swallow for me. The idea of God and faith turned out to be a little too much. I started losing sleep and wouldn't be able to stay over at friends' houses for night. I wouldn't be able to focus in school and could never enjoy looking up at the stars because my mind would race. Heaven and death being the most common topics to reoccur. The icing on the cake through these already tough times was when my mom got bad news that her MS was likely getting worse and there was potential for brain fog and maybe losing complete feeling in her hand. These events led me to getting stuck in questions like, what happens after we die? Does God even care about us? Does your mind or spirit stay functional beyond death? Is there an end? Is there even a God? Let's just say it was some of my rougher times. These thoughts and questions started to consume me. It wasn't until grade 10 where I started to realize things that went deeper than just the idea of God. I started to see how God worked in action through school and church. I knew I needed to go back to focus on the all-powerful, loving God I idolized as a kid, except this time on my own terms. I learned to see this love through the communities of RJC, Rostern, and my church. These events and groups helped shape me as I went along in my faith journey. They guided me to see God's exceptional work being done, and I realized that all these people are here for me. No matter where my faith is at, all these people care about me, even the ones I rarely have conversations with. I saw God during my RJC also trips to Oliver and Toronto. While visiting the Gleaners in Oliver, I learned about how much love and care these people had, putting in countless hours daily to feed people that they've never even met. This really helped me to understand the concept of God's willing to give, and I learned to accept that He works in informal ways and does actually have a plan. During my trip to Toronto, seeing and talking to homeless people was a game changer that opened my eyes to see God's everlasting love. He shows His love through humans and life. No matter who you are, God created you equal. I accepted the fact that God actually knows what He's doing and everyone has a purpose. Although I'm sure my mom had her doubts, she continues to stay faithful by being positive and staying healthy. And I think that's what God needs you to do. She kept believing in God's plan, and she set an example that I'm forever grateful for. Ultimately, God created each of us to love each other with our own unique assets. I learned about God through my family, but started to see God's love through the action of others. We experience this love in a variety of ways. His beautiful creations, the love of family and friends, and just the sincere gestures of others. Finding peace within myself to open my heart and see God was my biggest task. And remember, God is with us, God listens to us, and God will make Himself known to us, even through our hardships. I learned to love God by understanding I couldn't know everything. I remain grateful for my family, my class, the staff, and the RJC student body for everything. Peace be with you all.